But good evening, everybody. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on behalf of all my colleagues and myself. It is the 16th year of this business enterprise of tomorrow. So and I've done nearly 4 or 5 of them. And for me personally, and also I think for a lot of my colleagues, this is the most one we cherish the most. Because, we also, in the Indian context, we are also not that big a company. Data is still new in India. In the global context, we are much bigger, obviously. But so we work with large companies, but when you work with smaller companies and you really make life meaningful, it's always more, it's a bigger pleasure. So thank you very much and good to see you all here. I come with 2 disadvantages despite a very illustrious introduction, which was definitely not worthy. I stand between you and the awards and dinner. And I also come as the last speaker. So a lot of what I was going to say has been covered. So let me try to think of something which will make it fun. So I think, just to give you a perspective, because as I said, we are a large company. We are obviously all across the world. We've also been around too long, maybe. We have been around 180 years. So we have a perspective. So I'll share the perspective, maybe, what is relevant today. So I think the first thing, and, we were talking in the speaker room before, I honestly think, it is India's moment currently. I think if India had ever, and I'm quite old, but not that old to have seen the world, maybe as some of you have, but I truly believe that it's India's moment. So, and why do I say that? So I say that for a number of reasons. One is, the whole, how the world is evolving, the geopolitics or whatever you call it, right? The China plus one. You read about it, it's absolutely real. I don't think, including any boardroom, including ours, there is no discussion on that. What do you do with what's happened in China? So, yeah, and I'll be quite candid here. So one of the board meetings which I had, I was asked by, we also have independent board members, our global board. One of the guys asked me, when do we see the Z moment in India? So China just flipped, right? Suddenly, and kind of decided that it wanted to do things differently. So that's a huge advantage. We work with a lot of Indian companies as well in terms of seeing what they want to do versus partnering with new folks who want to come up and set up in India. So that's the big thing, that there is a huge, I think Mercy mentioned it, other folks may have mentioned it, there is a whole new discussion on where do I manufacture, where do I grow, where do I build my supply chain? So it's a rare moment. It's not going to come again. And we've got to snatch that. The other thing is what's happening generally in demographics and geopolitics in the European theater. Demographics, those countries are getting older. I don't know if you folks have traveled there recently. I'll give you a personal example. Last year, we had one of our things in Sicily. I'd never been to Sicily. First time I went to Sicily. The airport in Sicily, there are 2 airports. One is in Palermo, which is on the north. So I got there. We had our meetings on Monday. I got there on the weekend. I took a car. I drove around. You drive around in Sicily and you drive up into a village, the entire main street is boarded up. There's nobody there. The population is declining. People are getting older. And they don't really want to do the jobs which really used to be done in Europe. So nobody wants to work in a foundry, for example. So my employer is also a very kind employer. So I sit on some external boards. So I sit on a board of a company in Calcutta which makes railway wagons, Jupiter wagons. It's a decent sized company, $2 billion market cap. It makes around 10,000 railway wagons a year. There are 3 guys who make railway wagons in India pretty much, Titagarh, Texmac or Jupiter, all pretty much same capacity. Jupiter has tied up just about with 6 Eastern European players who make various things for the railway wagon. You make the coupler, you make now the wheel, you make the brake disc, you make this and that. The European manufacturers can't compete at the price that can be done here. So there is a real opportunity for MSMEs, which is the point I'm making, to see what is happening in the world with help and try to replicate that here. So I genuinely believe that, honestly, it's India's moment and we need to kind of grab it with both arms and more to make it happen. It's not going to be easy, but I have seen Jupiter now for 10 years. It was a company with, less than maybe 150, 200 crores of turnover, and now it's close to a 4,000 crore turnover company. So, in the definition which Mercy mentioned, Jupiter would have been very much a small business, and now it's really 4,000 crore company in less than a decade. And there are many examples of that. So I think we are sitting at that, that cusp. There will be lots of winners, and I hope there are many, many more. But I genuinely believe it's an opportunity, and that's what I say. So, and then a lot of people say that, how do I do that? How do I get there? So obviously, you can't do that without help. And I think there is a lot of help available. So there are people like us, for example. There are many more people. All the things which the government is doing, all the support which government gives. So I think, challenges which MSMEs face, in getting credibility, in getting known, in finding finance, in finding new markets. I think Prashant at Jakarta talked about talent. So I think those are all nice problems, but there is help for all of that. So, DNB itself for so many centuries, for so many decades, we have products which give you credibility, which give you recognition. You get this DUNS number, you come onto the data cloud, people can check on you, people can figure out how credible you are and do business with you. I'll give you an example from last week. Large auto guy in Pune, 1,000 crore turnover. He had his, and this is a thing which we do in India, that we close our year in March. So a lot of people will not file their results for all valid reasons. They don't want competition to know their numbers. They'll file it late. So this auto manufacturer, component manufacturer in Pune, files March 24 numbers in May 2025. And obviously what does that do? In our own system, his rating will fall because he hasn't filed his financials, and he regularly files 15 months late. There is a governance issue as well, right? So one of his suppliers kind of flagged it to him saying, we have a problem because your rating is always a little bit negative. So what I'm making the point is that, there are products, there are services which anybody can use, and MSMEs more so in terms of getting that credibility. Mercy talked about, access to market, support for access to market. Again, there are products available for that. We have this great product called Hoovers, which just about anybody can use. A lot of companies in India has used, a lot of trade associations use to figure out who's the next client, who can be the next distributor, or whatever else. So the point I'm making, I think just to kind of, keep it relevant from whatever has been discussed, I think there is a genuine moment for MSMEs to step up possibly in some cases on their own, on the back of partnerships and things they can build, like this Pune company as well. I've known for a decade. The Pune company was less than 100 crores 10 years ago and is now 1,000 crores. So this is, phenomenal growth and phenomenal partnerships. So that this Pune gentleman, obviously a very smart gentleman, but he's built his genuine partnerships when he was less than 100 crores with his clients. And his clients now engage deeply in terms of giving work, developing stuff, which can be done here, and people are willing to do here. I think the cost of manufacturing in Europe, for example, the cost of power, the whole environment cost are so high, the cost of people. And like in India, I guess, as people get educated, nobody wants to work on the shop floor. They want to do other fancy things. So in Europe, that's happening as well. And anyway, as I said, people are getting older. So I think there is a genuine moment. There is lots of help available. There's financial help available. There is market wealth or market information available to make things happen. So my urging to all of the, the 6 and 6.5, I still say 65 million MSMEs, even if a small percentage of that gets it right, I think there's going to be a huge amount of wealth, huge amount of addition to economic activity, a huge amount of employment being created, which is all what we need. So I think that's the crux of what I'll say. In terms of, ourselves, as I said, this is our 16th event. We are in our 30th year in India, DNB, which is a very proud year for us, 30th year. And SMEs have always been a friend and a partner for us, and that's globally. So you would be surprised that, you think MSMEs in India only have the problem. The same problems happen with MSMEs everywhere. And more importantly, they are also the large bottom of the pyramid of any economy, not only in terms of number, but also in terms of employment, in terms of GDP, in terms of export and all of that. And the DNB ecosystem works with all these guys across the country. So in India too, when we came in, we first had set up, we were partners in Sibyl, which is called Sibyl. So we had a 10% stake. It was DNB TransUnion, and then TransUnion bought everybody out. And then many years later, we were asked to set up a SME rating agency, which still exists, SMERA, SMERA, which we own 35%. We are a founder shareholder along with SIDBI, and obviously the banks, including State Bank of India, who was here today, Punjab National Bank in Delhi, and a whole bunch of other banks as well across the country. So we live and eat the SME ecosystem. We are part of it. We like to partner. We like to do more. As Mercy said, it'll be good to hear your feedback, your comments, and what else we can value add. It'll be of great help. But today, I think, as part of this 16th year, we celebrate your success, and we have our Business Excellence Awards. And today we hope to honor 30 outstanding enterprises across 27 industry categories and 3 special categories, which being the Atmanirbhar Bharat Initiative, the Global Business, and the Entrepreneur of the Year. So I think that's really what I would say. And I'm around after we finish the awards as well. We'll be very happy to kind of discuss and take any feedback and questions you might have. Thank you so much for your time.